everyone, it's Matt today, along with Goose, and we're going to talk about Prism Peacock. Does Prism Peacock shine like a rainbow, or is it really just fizzle out? Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. Okay, everyone. Prism Peacock, and my Prism Peacock is here. Is a beast that is in a magic role. Mine is at level 90, 3181 CP, and I'm using a Blizzard Blade, which is not really a great weapon for it, but it was the best that I had at the time for Wisdom. But it is a very interesting unit. And let me go here to the abilities here. Its leadership here is raises Frizz type potency by 10%. So anything that uses Frizz, so that is breath, spell, martial, or physical, will raise by 10%. So it is a very useful general elemental skill. And as a leader, it can be very useful for a group of enemies that are weak to Frizz, but you may not either have all the units for one type so that you can bring it up by 15 or 20%, or like in some events, some of them are strong against spells, other ones are strong against physical, and you need something that can affect both equally. And so Prism Peacock's leadership is actually pretty usable, and is still pretty usable because it's so general to Frizz. I greatly enjoy the use of Prism Peacock for that, and so I would give a pretty solid leadership skill just for that. As a unit, it's pretty interesting as it has two elemental skills. And it uses 3 types of damage. So it is a bit frustrating, though, that it is kind of actually hard to really equip this unit and figure out what it wants to be. The first spell is Frizzle. It deals 16 MP consumption. And it does moderate Frizz type spell damage to one enemy. Mine has is +4 right now. You can see that I do actually use my Prism Peacock a decent amount. As you can see, a lot of its skills are upgraded. And actually, I got this while I was going for Lionheart, so it's just a relatively new unit for me as well. It is a decent elemental spell. This is like the only skill that you can equip a weapon for, as the breath and martial skills are based off of level and not really stats. So it is a little frustrating in that way. And also because it has breath damage and is a beast, it's not better served to be under, say, Great Dragon, because the Great Dragon only affects Dragon type breath. And so the next one is Blessed Breath, which is a zap, which is very useful. It deals moderate zap type breath damage to all enemies in the AoE. It's a straight line, so it's a range. I call it 1, but it can go up to 3. It's a good skill, and I do enjoy the fact, especially now that my Prism Peacock's 90, that it does a decent amount of damage, and it's consistent through the breath. The last skill here is the last was Cremate, which does 84, and it is a circle around itself. It deals major Frizz type martial damage to all enemies in AoE. Once again, breath and martial damage are based off of the character's level and not based off of stats. So want to make sure that it's going to start out low, and as you get the level to 90, then to 100. And in a few months, or maybe 6 months, they do raise the level cap again. And so bread skills become that much better as it's more of a curve based than a stats based. And the stats don't go as high as the curves, so it will get better later, but not until much later. It does require a decent amount of MP at 84, but it is martial damage, and it does go all the way around. As you can see here, I have Crackle as my spell choice for this unit, and you'll see that a little later as well. So from the base here, the First Awakening skills, Sporadic MP Regen. I do not have that in Stats Up. Sporadic MP Regen is similar to White King as an example. It will allow you to basically cast Frizzle each turn. So as a unit, and that's why I have a dagger in there. It helps HP and gives a little bit of wisdom on top of it. It's not really the best, probably best type is daggers, but there's other weapons that you can use as well. The second one here is first resistance plus 25. Then we've got whoosh resistance at 25 with the fourth dupe, and the third and fifth is cremate power plus 5%. So the level 100 stats, the HP is actually not so bad for a magic user at 681. Its agility is incredibly fast at 425. This is one of the reasons why I think the Prism Peacock is actually a pretty good unit. My only concern with it right now is that my beast family isn't really very well leveled. I've got to work on that. That will actually enhance the survivability and speed of my Prism Peacock. But once again, that's not a unit problem. That's my own account problem. And even so, it's still probably in the top 5, if not, I call it 4th on the units that I use the most. And just to kind of give you quick ones, it's Slineheart, Dragon Lord, then White King. Then I actually prefer Prism Peacock just over Dragon Lord True Form because of the fact of the speed and the agility of the unit. Even though the Dragon Lord True Form can do a little bit more damage, also for Arena, Prism Peacock is better than Dragon Lord True Form due to the fact that it's only 50 weight instead of 65. But we could argue between 4 and 5, but it's still in the top 5 for the units that I use often. Killing Machine, just because I have more of a magic-based type unit right now, Killing Machine will go back up there when the physical meta starts becoming a little stronger the next, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months. Its attack is fairly low at 260. Its wisdom is not as high as I'd hope at 287, but once again, 2 of its 3 attacks are level based and not stat based, so it's not as big of a loss. The MP being at 342 is pretty good overall. Its defense is 296, and with its HP, it's actually fairly tanky for a magic user in that regards. So all in all, I'm actually okay with the split of the stats here because really the 2 stats that you really want to focus on is definitely agility and then HP and defense, which I kind of combine together. You just basically multiply HP times defense, and that's what we call survivability. And as long as that's fairly high, which it is here, then you're happy. It's right around, I'd say, 2,000 and above, which is very good for a spellcaster that can actually attack at distance. It's better than Slineheart as an example. So it's not squishy. And its MP is, as I say, very good. Its preferred weapon, though, I would call is Fire Claws, which gives attack and agility, but gives you your first attribute power of plus 2%, which is actually important for itself because its skills, 2 of its 3 skills, are Frizz type, but one is a spell and the other one's martial. And so with those, you kind of want to be able to separate it out, and instead of focusing like plus 5% Frizz spell. If you put Fire Claws, you can do either Frizzle or Cremate and get a 2% increase. For Alchemy, the Fire Claws actually give Frizz martial potency. The attack is useful for just straight attack and agility, but you're going to mostly focus on Frizz, martial potency, and agility. The Fire Claws do give a nice boost of agility of plus 17, with the attack of 11, which once again is more for the auto attack only. It doesn't factor into anything else. Fire Claws are useful for a couple of other units as well. That's why I say skills to look for in Alchemy is plus attack, but you don't want it specifically for Prism Peacock. And you can get Fire Claws in the Frizz attribute equipment rewards in the Frizz section. So it does drop fairly often there. So you can get a pretty good Alchemy if you have any luck, unlike me, who's basically 0 for 15 on rolling anything that I am looking for. Finally, some of the preferred learned skills. Sizzle. Because with Frizz and Zap, it's kind of an odd combination. And Sizzle actually kind of works a little bit better than Crackle, but I already used my Sizzle on another unit. Zammel's another good one, which inflicts Zam spell damage on one enemy. I would prefer, especially with my Prism Peacock, to have an AoE spell, so I gave it my Crackle. So, as I say, sometimes I list it third, but I will use that because of how it fits in my team. And there are others too, like even if you gave Whoosh or others, that's just as fine as well. But these are the three that will open up the most amount of weaknesses with the two elements that it already has. So, once again, it's up to you. You don't have to use the top one for, like, Prism Peacock. It's just, excuse me, what I would suggest for people if you were to use this as your main unit. But custom build to your team, you will be much happier about that as well. So, as I say, Prism Peacock I actually think is a very good unit overall. My big concerns is that 2 of its 3 skills, and I'm going to go back up here, are based off of breath or martial damage, and so the stats overall are more focused that you're going to really want to improve are like agility, HP, and defense. It does have 1 skill for magic, and you're probably going to boost magic. That's why I have an icicle there. I was also fighting a unit that was weak to ice, so I was actually using my Crackle. That's why it's currently using a ice blade. Customize your unit to what you want, what you think will fit best in the team. But I do suggest once you give a scroll to a unit, don't keep switching it around. These scrolls are just too rare. It's kind of, at least the way that I play it, once I give them a skill here, then go directly and keep it there and just build it up. I haven't had the opportunity to increase Crackle. I'm still trying to actually level up my killing machine right now. And the next time that I run through the Crackle type books, I will actually focus a little bit more on my Prism Peacock. So overall, I consider this a very good unit. It is very versatile, and you can also focus on the zap. And I do like that you can have 3 pieces or 3 elements along with it, and you have very good agility and decent survivability considering your agility on top of it. The damage isn't as high as other units, but because of that agility, I like it because I can kind of focus on units that are near death, kill them off, and then if I've got one other unit that's going to attack it, it will usually survive that attack. I can heal it, and then we can work together that way. So as a unit, it fits really well in my team that way. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, comments, please go down below and give them to me. Also, if you haven't, please give a like and subscribe to the videos. You can also see me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Madgarou. I hope you guys are having a great time. And more importantly, have fun, good luck, and be good. Bye, everyone.